Hi everyone! Super excited to to be with everyone today. How is everyone? Show me some hearts if you're doing great. Gonna have some fun today. We're gonna talk about adjustments and my styles for, well, I try to make every day a holiday, but as the holidays roll around, I'm gonna try to decide what styles I'm gonna use. So I want to start off with a few questions that I did receive in the past couple weeks, and then I'll get right into how to adjust your wig. So I had someone really, a lot of times it's kind of hard to understand. Oh my goodness, my manners. I'm sorry. Welcome to René Paris. I got so excited, I just wanted to jump right into it. But again, thank you for joining us. This is René Paris. Super excited to be talking about how to adjust your wigs, because this is something that we experience, especially new wig wearers, or even if you're not new and maybe it's a new style. Sometimes we get a little bit nervous about how to adjust them. Is it fitting correctly? What do I do in an emergency situation? I'm gonna show you a really nice trick that I've taught individuals, especially if they're just not in an area where they can get into a physical location. So I'll be doing that in just a little bit. Again, I'm going to go over just a few Q&A that I did have in the past couple weeks. And I have a lot of questions, but I always pull what I feel like is going to be really useful, because they're all important questions, but they kind of just tug at me when I know that the individual, or if they leave me voicemail, they're really upset about something, and we need to try to help them. So my wig is 4 months old and it looks frayed on the ends. What happened to it? Okay, so a lot of times when we are wearing a wig, they do have a lifespan. They're synthetic, so they're like fabric. They're any kind of rubbing, any body heat, and I share that that a lot of times if you feel like you retain a lot of body heat, or you're just hot natured, or if you're going to be using it to work out, if you work out in your style, if you feel like you're on some type of, if you're under treatment, if you're taking medications, it just really depends. Every situation is different. But a lot of times that heat, especially if it's exposed, the hair is exposed or touching your skin, a lot of times just that what we call body friction causes the style to be causes frizz. If you're wearing collars, especially in the wintertime, if you're wearing fur, a lot of times we wear all these different fabrics, and the fabrics rubbing together a lot of times cause what I call it friction frizz. So the hair becomes frizzy on the ends. I was trying to find one of my frizzier styles here. You can't really, this is frizzy. I mean, you can kind of tell where it's starting to get frizzy on the ends. And I always share that wigs do have a lifespan. They are designed, synthetic pieces are designed to last about a good 4 months with everyday wear. Now, if you're really aggressive with your wigs, if you use products that you're not supposed to, they may not last as long. But frizz on the ends, you can use Revive. I know you hear me talking about that all the time. This is a wonderful product, Revive. This is a fabulous stocking stuffer. Let me tell you, if you know someone that is that's a wig wearer that you don't know exactly what to get, you may not want to get them a wig. Products are wonderful gifts at any time, but especially this time of year. Just rub a little bit of that Revive, let it dry on the ends. You don't have to do the whole piece. I always just suggest to kind of target the ends here. Shampoo it, spray the ends with Revive, and let it dry overnight, and you will see the difference in softness and shine. Again, that is Revive from the René Paris line. Let me see. What did you mean a few IGs ago when you said wigs are salon inspired? Okay, so what I meant to say, when I'm styling my hair, especially if we're in a place where I don't really know people, they may not know me, and I usually don't hesitate to take my wig off in public. But if I feel like there's a certain crowd that maybe I kind of just feel it out. When I say salon inspired, I want to be wearing hair that looks like I went to the salon and had it styled and colored, because that's the beauty for me when I'm talking to my friends and people that I know that need hair help. That's the beauty, the magic, if you will, in wigs, that they do look super natural. They set the trend. They're so advanced in color technology. Like the color that I'm wearing today, this, of course, I would never have enough hair to do this, my own bio hair, but I just would not sit there. I wouldn't want to sit there through the process. That's just something I've never been comfortable with, but it's salon inspired, meaning that if you're in the salon chair, they're creating those looks. The beautiful artists that are doing the hair, the artists, the designers, the teams, the research and development that do these wigs, they study all this months ahead of time, 18 months ahead of time. It's a process, it's a science. That's what I meant when I meant salon inspired. It's beautiful hair. It's beautiful wearable art. How come the wigs? Okay, so I will answer that. Someone wants to know why wigs are not affordable. You know, I wanna just direct you to reneeparis.com. There are so many different lines, and that kind of goes into the features that I'm going to talk about, the adjustments and so forth. Wigs are designed very every wig line is designed differently. The Amore line, say for instance, has different features that are very, very luxurious. It's affordable luxury. There are wigs that are custom made that are much more expensive, and these wigs are made to fit so beautifully, and they are comfortable, and that kind of leads me into what we're going to talk about today, because there's so many different variables and so many things that you have to keep in mind when you are looking at adjustments and what's going to be most comfortable. So I'm going to go ahead and start there, and I'll do the last two questions because I can answer those after I go over the adjustments. And always remember that what I share in my styles that I like, that's just my personal preference in the styles that I wear. And that's just my opinion of what feels best for me. Everyone has their preferences as far as styles and their line of choice, if you will. But I, of course, am going to be talking about all the different lines from René Paris and the adjustments on the insides. And a lot of times, if we go into a place, a physical place, or if we ordered it, a lot of times we may be too busy, or maybe we didn't have the time with the individual to kind of go over all the different features of the wigs, aftercare, and so forth. And adjustments are one of those things. Just today, I worked with someone earlier, and they were not aware that the piece that they had adjustments. They didn't know where the adjustments were. They didn't know how to pull the adjustments. So this is very, very important information. What I want to share before I get into the adjustments, because that kind of goes into measurement and if they're average in size, if they're large in size. And today's segment is not about how to measure or large or average or petite average and all the different terminology that you can find across the board. Today we're specifically talking about how to use the adjustments. I don't want to put that aside like it's not important. It is. We have tutorials and videos that we have in our library, if you will. So if you'd like to go to reneeparis.com, our YouTube channel, reneeparis.com, you can go. There's links for YouTube and Instagram, past Instagrams that we have available for you to view. And we do have tutorials on how to measure your head, what's going to be the best, what's going to work. But the one thing that I always suggest, especially if you're new to wigs, if you are in an area where you can go to a physical place and try some on, if you just don't feel like you can make that selection online, please call in your area. You can also go to reneeparis.com, use the search tool for the locator, find someone in your area, make an appointment, and go in and have a wig professional help you make a selection. It is very, very important that the wig fit you correctly. I say this because a lot of times I come in and someone will have a list. This is exactly what I want. I want the wig to be, I want it to be this measurement. I want monofilament. I want lace front. I want hand tied. And they're going through this whole list of features that they think they may want. And then my first question is, okay, so tell me a little bit about the style that you'll be looking for and the color preference. Just share a little bit about that with me before we go into all the different features. And the reason I ask that question is, say for instance, this particular color may not be available in large. It may not be available in that one specific style that in my mind I have already picked out. So I say that because if you are just set on a style that maybe is average size, may fit you a little bit big in this area, then there are techniques and modifications that a wig professional, a licensed professional, can help you with that process. Meaning that there are ways to customize the crown just for you. Now, when you've seen me take my wigs and I tell you that I'm like 22 inches in circumference, that's borderline on the larger side. I'm okay with that. I have bio hair underneath. I don't want to get rid of my hair. I am a bigger person. My frame is bigger. So the second thing I always tell people, and there are so many beautiful people doing reviews and tutorials and so forth, always kind of keep in mind the individual that's doing it and kind of just just look at the person and think, does that person's frame look similar to mine? I just went through this with one of my cousins who kept saying, but the wig falls way down here on her, or it just looks different on her. Can I adjust it to make it look different? And I always just share that you have to keep in mind that everyone's measurements, body size, and so forth is going to be different. So that particular piece may look entirely different on you. We're beautiful both ways. What I'm saying is that if I say, for instance, use Meadow. Do you remember Meadow? We just launched it a couple weeks. It's a really cute, shorter style. On most people, it's going to fall right about here. On me, because I have a larger head, it kind of fell here. So it looks different on, and I'm gonna try a few styles here so that you can see what I'm talking about. But going back today to what's important today and what we're talking about are the adjustments. When you put a wig on, let me just go into that, please. When you put a wig on, it's very, very important, first of all, for it to be, I'm going to use a shorter style, for it to be placed correctly. I'm going to be using, before I get it, this is Chick Waves. I'm going to try this on, and I always use a shorter piece to show you where the wig needs to fall, because a lot of times if you don't have the wig placed correctly, you may feel like the wig is too big or too small. So I want to just show you. And then another thing, just to go over that, when you're making a selection in a wig, you always want to keep in mind, do you have bio hair or will you not have bio hair? And when I say that, again, I know you've heard me say we're beautiful both ways, with or without hair. But if you have bio hair underneath and you need a little bit of wiggle room, please keep that in mind when you're making your selection. Or if you have lost your hair and your hair is growing back and you think that you possibly might want to wear that wig down the line, which I would hope you do, keep it for just special occasions. Please keep in mind that you might want to keep that in mind. So you may want something with a little bit of wiggle room instead of having something smaller than what your measurement is. Okay, so in a wig, first of all, let me show you the adjustments. In all our wigs, there are adjustments. These are going to be at the back. This is the back of the wig. This is the nape, what we call the nape here. These are adjustments. When you get a wig out of a box, they haven't been shaken, they haven't been stretched, and I don't mean aggressively stretched, I mean stretched. I always get a wig out and I just stretch it. They're fabric. It's kind of like when you buy that pair of jeans and you want to wear it a couple times before you actually go where you're going to go because it'll make it more comfortable. Can anyone identify with that? So they're made out of fabric. So what I do is I get them and I stretch them. And I always loosen the adjustment up. Just because at very first try on, I want to make sure that the adjustments are out. So what you do is you lift this and just move it back, right, or left. Again, this is the back, this is the nape piece. Then we're going to turn it right side out again. And I'm going to hold it upside down. And I'm going to rest this part on my forehead. And you want to make sure that you stay right about your natural hairline. So when if your brows are, it's usually it's like a 4-finger rule. 4 fingers above your brow is where you should set. And if you'll see, this is about my natural hairline. Now these tabs in through here are what we call, some people call them ear tabs, some people call them temple tabs. I call them temple tabs because they're right in through this area. And they're going to fall right about usually 2 fingers away from your brow. This is just usually. I'm not saying that they're going to come. If they come further forward, like really far down, then it may just not be a great fit, but you can try to adjust it. So that's what we're going to do in a minute. Here, you definitely want to make sure that your ears are out. You don't want the fabric over your ears. You don't want the foundation over. You want it above the ear. In the back is probably the most important. I'm going to show you when you turn around back here. I know you've seen me do this, but when you bend back, you want this piece of the nape to be above the bend of your neck. So here, you want it above the bend. And the reason you want to do that is because when you bend back like this, you don't want it to feel like it's going to slide off. So let's try that again. And then when you are adjusting, always make sure that your tabs here, they have a tiny piece of wire. Make sure that they're flat to the head. Or if you wear eyewear, you want to make sure that they're kind of cupped. Meaning I'm putting my thumbs here and I'm just cupping them a little bit like this, so that your eyewear kind of just slips in. Now it's very important to keep in mind that if you're in the back, even if your hairline grows low and that's what you're used to, make sure that that you're not pulling the nape of the wig in the bend of the neck. I can't tell you how important that is because it will be uncomfortable. Every time that you bend back like this or move, you're going to feel the fabric against your skin. So at this point, you want to just feel, okay, let's just say it felt a little bit too big. You take it back off. I've learned to do this on my head, but I totally understand when you're new to this. You want to take it back, take the adjustment out, and pull the adjustment towards the middle. So I'm actually taking this. We're going to pull it in here. And we're pulling towards the center. And I'm going to do the same side, the same thing on this side. So I'm going to take this side and I'm going to pull toward, these are Velcro, so you're just going to pull these towards the center. Now that's if it was too small, which usually I'm not going to have that problem, but I'm showing that so that you know what to do. If you were to put the wig on and it's still too big here, like it bunches up here, let me show you a little trick. A lot of times if you're, like I said earlier, if you can go into a physical location and they can help you tailor that, There usually is going to be a fee for that. I just want you to know ahead of time, and it probably would be good to make an appointment. I say all those things because I know a lot of times it's hard to understand why you would want to make an appointment going to a wig store, but it's very important because most wig stores are licensed professionals and they require an appointment. That's kind of just, I mean, we're used to that. Maybe in other areas it's different, but just remember, if you're going into a place where they're going to do handwork for you, you may have to pay a fee. You may have to leave it a couple days. That's like tailoring your clothing. And it takes a little bit of time for the adjustments to be made. So if you take them in and that's still not working, you feel like you have a bunch of fabric up here, let me show you what you can do. So when I say that, let's say we put the wig on and there's just too much bunch up here. It's just too big here from the hairline to the nape. There's just like a bunch up here. Okay, so when you get the fabric, you can squeeze the fabric like this, take it off, and I've just put bobby pins. This is like a quick fix. I need the wig fixed for the holiday. I can't get in. I just don't have the time. All I've taken is 2 bobby pins and crossed them to hold the fabric there. Now, what you do have to remember is that if you are sensitive in the skin, you want to make sure that you wear a wig cap under that, or be really, really careful that you don't break skin with any of the bobby pins. I know you've heard me share before as well. There's also clear bobby pins that are plastic. We always suggest these in the event that your skin's very sensitive so that they're not metal. These are plastic bobby pins. That you can place there to just hold the wefts, and basically what you're doing is you're just holding the wefts of fabric to shorten the length from here to here. So I'm not going to try this on because this is going to be too small for me with that there, but it's just whenever we're doing a customization, and I know that there's wig shops that provide the service because at René Paris, we teach these classes to the wig professionals. So basically what you're doing is you're taking this piece up here and it's actually being hand sewn and cut. However, if you're in a pinch, this is the only reason I'm showing this, because I know a lot of places we're not able to do that right now. We're not able to get out and have this service done. Okay, so I wanted to show you on a halo. I always have that question too, are halos, and halos are the pieces that are done, that are created to wear with hats. So you don't have hair up here, but it has adjustments on the inside. The halos have adjustments as well. So these are going to be here. Please remember that they are on both sides, right and left. And if you want to make this piece smaller, you're going to pull them towards the center. If you want it larger, you're going to let them out right and left. So for someone like me, and I've shared this before, that has a larger head size, what do I do? What would I do if I was out, got my wig, and it was just a little bit too snug? The first thing I'm going to do, like I was sharing, these are fabric, so I'm going to get it and I'm going to stretch it. I'm just going to give it a good stretch. I'm going to take these adjustments, and if it's like this adjustment where it has a little buckle, I'm actually going to undo the buckle. However, one thing I did want to share with you today is what lines feel more comfortable to me. This is just my personal choice. René Paris is the actual, like there's Noriko, René Paris, Amore. The René Paris designs feel more comfortable for me because I do have my bio hair, and I am a little bit larger in the head size. I've shared that, and I don't have a problem with that, but they're more comfortable with me. They're wefted pieces with lots of stretch. So again, if it fits a little bit too snug, just undo this little adjustment. You can actually completely undo that. I wouldn't say cut it out or do anything like that yet. And if you need to see tutorials on that, make sure you go to our YouTube channel, because we have tutorials on all of these different subject matters, if you will. Okay, again, this is a little bit different. The other one was Velcro. This is just like a little belt type of adjustment. So I'm going to put this on. Okay, so keep in mind, you want to make sure that you place it correctly on the hairline. Check your ear tabs. I could definitely be more specific, but today we just want to give you a quick idea how to use the adjustments. Okay, so on this piece, you want to make sure in the back, again, even if your hairline grows low, do not pull this. We just have a tendency to pull this all the way down like this because we think it's going to be more secure, but not the case. When you turn your head, it will feel like it's coming off. So make sure that before you pin, make sure you do this, kind of, bend your head back. It should be a comfortable fit, and you shouldn't feel like it's going to come off. And I know you've seen Abby. Abby has actually done she does like this little flip. It's adorable, and the hair stays there. So you don't have to, it should be a good fit, and that's why we're doing this. So if you feel like it's a little bit too loose, you want to take the adjustment up. Now, I know you've seen me do this before, but I do this on my head. I'm just grabbing the adjustment. You can actually do this, practice. It just takes a little bit of practice. Just take the adjustment and pull the adjustment towards the center. I don't know if you can see this, but I'm actually just doing this on my head. See, here's the adjustment. And then I do the other side. The reason that helps me is because it's on my head, and I can actually feel when yeah, see, that fits better. I don't feel like I need to pin it. And I did that on my head. So it takes a little bit of practice, but just take a little time to check the adjustments on your pieces. And like I said, I've helped people that have been wearing wigs for a while, and sometimes we don't have the time to explain that the adjustments are there. I'm sorry when that happens, but it does. So remember, every one of our pieces has adjustments. And I did have a question on, I was trying to find, do all our wigs have adjustments? Yes, they do. Okay, so this is another one of my I'm supposed to show you my favorite pieces for the holidays too. This is one of my favorite pieces from the Alexander Couture Collection. This has adjustments here. This is Zara. I tell you all the time that this is what I wish my hair would look like. So this is lace front, lace part, and this has adjustments as well. Okay, so on this particular piece, I did have to take one of the adjustments out. Again, please keep in mind that if you're panicking because you feel like something's not going to fit you, or it's not going to be comfortable, always make sure that you just play with the adjustment in the back. And the other thing that you can do, if you just feel like it still feels like a little bit snug, or maybe it's fitting a little bit too, maybe it's a tiny bit loose, before you do anything, what I call drastic to it, before you do anything to it, always remember that it takes a good, I would say maybe a couple days. It really happens more quicker than a couple days. But if you're new to wigs and you've never worn a wig before, once your body starts heating up the fabric from the wig on the foundation, it starts to stretch a little bit. It doesn't happen like this. It's not going to be like it got too loose where it's not even going to be comfortable. This is happening with your own body heat. So once the foundation of the wig starts heating up, meaning with your body temperature, it's not gonna get frizzy. It's not gonna be anything that I know that sounds funny, but I'm just saying it's a process. It becomes more comfortable. So I always tell people before you actually start cutting into or modifying, wear it a little bit if you have the chance at home before you get out and about with the wig, so that you know that it is going to stretch. And like I said, when you get a brand new wig, you definitely want to get it and you want to give it a good stretch. Just stretch the fabric out. Like I said, that's probably the first thing that you can do before you do anything else. Always remember, you can completely release the tabs to make it larger. If it needs to be taken up a little bit, remember that you can just pinch the fabric and use, like I just crossed the pins like this. Please be careful though, if your bobby pins are not covered, like these are covered. If they're not covered, please be careful because you don't want to break skin. But this is just a quick fix. Like if I have something, and I do have one piece, Angelica, that is a large, that actually fits me a little bit large, so I have to pinch it on the top here. But I don't want to do it long term, so I just use a little fix like this, because if I pull my hair up here, like there's a particular style I do where it's kind of bubbly here, like the kind of like in the 70s. And I want that volume there, so I pull my hair up here. If I don't have that little pooch right here, I can't create that style. So I don't want to cut into that wig. I just want to use something temporary. So I hope that I have answered some of your questions about adjustments. I wanted to show you, okay, so I want to make sure that I did go over this. I think I did, but I want to make sure. These are Velcro. So in order to adjust those, you just lift these and you move them towards the center. Make it bigger, you move them out to the end. This adjustment is a little bit different. It's like a little bra strap, same process on the right and the left. Now to secure a wig, especially right now, if you want to secure your wig, I know that we've gone over this as well, but I don't think we could go over it too many times. There are wig liners that are by René Paris. And if you feel like you're new to wigs, you just feel uncomfortable, you don't know if it's going to stay in place, a wig liner is a perfect accessory to wear underneath. These come in different colors. And this is what I wear all the time. What's nice about this particular accessory is you can put one of these underneath your wig, and it does help keep the wig in place. It serves as a barrier between your foundation and your skin. So you can put this on before you put the wig on, and always remember that you can pin your wig to the wig liner if you feel like that's necessary. Most of the time though, they're comfortable with just the wig liner as is. Let me show you this before I put this on. This type of foundation, the way this is made here, makes this piece fit a little more snug when I first get it. One of the first questions was, why are some of the wigs that are designed different more expensive? This makes this type of foundation more luxurious, meaning this is a beautiful fit when I put it on. This is not machine made. This is partial mono. So this is gonna make this piece fit a little bit more snug to me when I first get it. However, like I said, I just get it. This is Angelica PM. I get it and I just stretch it like this. I let the adjustments out. So this piece, when I first, and this is only the second time I've worn it, so this is a little more snug to my liking. However, I'll wear this a couple days before I need this for the holidays, and I kid you not, with my own body temperature, it's gonna feel more comfortable as I wear it. So have fun with your styles. I know that if you're new to wigs, it may be a little nerve-wracking trying to take all those different variables, put them together, and decide what to get. But I highly encourage you, if you're in an area where you can go into a physical location, please remember, if you're able to try these pieces on, don't think that just because a wig is not designed in what is called a petite, that it's not going to fit you. These pieces, especially the Noriko line, is beautiful if you feel like you're on the smaller side of measurements. The Noriko line works beautifully for so many people. And René Paris, my liking, I like something with a little bit more stretch, but all the lines are designed with beautiful fabrics, what I call fabrics, because that's what the foundations are made out of, and they all are going to give once you start wearing them. If it's just too big, like I said, you can have those adjusted. If it's too small, work with an individual to teach you how to undo the adjustments here, or like I said, please go to our YouTube channel, and we do have tutorials where we've shown you how to do that. Have a wonderful afternoon, and again, I thank you for joining us at René Paris. And please remember to like us on Instagram, subscribe on YouTube. That way you'll know whenever we're going to go live, and when we're doing giveaways, you'll have that information first. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you soon. Bye now.